This is the old Edison telegraph cable. He once told Mr. Henry Ford that this cable here had followed him all around in life. He had it at Newark. Then it came to Menlo Park. From Menlo Park, it went to West Orange. From West Orange, down to Fort Myers in Florida. And then one day he presented it to Mr. Ford. It was here at Menlo Park where Edison had many opportunities of experimenting with this cable on telegraphic experiments. To the old switchboard, there was connected 12 wires forming 6 loops which connected Edison with various parts of the country. During Light's Golden Jubilee, the Venerable Master sat in this chair and, like in the old days, made the key hum and spin. This place was connected with Smith's Creek, and the messages went to and fro on that memorable day of October 21st, 1929. This is the Edison embossing translating telegraph system. In this system, Edison conceived the idea of making a record of the Morse messages that came from a distant station, which could be then retransmitted to another station further on. Okay. Now I'm putting this in operation, and now I'm making a record. Or transferring it over to this side, I can operate this. Edison once told me, he said, "Francis, this is the father of the phonograph." And it was this idea that led to the creation of the phonograph. Edison was a telegraph engineer in the early days of rare qualities and gained a reputation among the profession. While at Boston, he improved the duplex system. And then in Newark, later on, he invented the quadruplex. The quadruplex system was significant, for it made one wire do the work of 4, saving telegraph companies for line erection an immense amount of money. Then followed many other systems of telegraphy: the automatic system, the harmonic, the acoustic system, the sextuplex, the multiplex, the phonoplex, and just at this moment I forget what other system. Here we have a part of his automatic system. The automatic system had a perforator in which the messages were first perforated out on tape, like this. And when the message was completed, it was put on a reel, and an instrument like this on a table had the message at one end, and another reel took this end, and it went out at the rate of about 1,500 to 2,000 words a minute. A very fast system. President Hayes's message was broadcast through the country on the Edison automatic system. Now I want to show you something about a part of an apparatus that he used in his acoustic system. In his acoustic system, instead of using a sounder, he had an apparatus like this. Could regulate the sound, and instead of the sounder making the dots and dashes, this instrument did it. Well, now, if you look at that instrument, it's the first telephone, magnetotelephone, ever made. Edison did not know it would reproduce speech. And I have often tried it here, and you can get speech like like in the ordinary Bell telephone. Edison in '75 was so near and yet so far away from this particular subject. Edison says, I made the first telephone, but I never knew that it was capable of giving audible speech. Professor Bell is the man that invented the telephone. It was in the early days, while Edison was still at Newark, that one day he was experimenting with the chemical telegraph, a telegraph where tape moistened with some chemical would register the dots and dashes in a blue or brown color. Edison's eagle eye of penetration noticed that when the current was on, it sort of went out, the tape passed out quicker than when the current was not on. And he kept that up his sleeve for some time. Then, I think it was in 1874, the Western Union Telegraph Company called for Edison one day and requested him if it was possible to make a telegraph relay that had neither iron nor coils of wire. A relay without electromagnetism. That was a proposition. Edison said he would consider it. He went home, and in a short time, he gave the Western Union a telegraph relay without iron or wire. He applied that principle which he had discovered with the chemical telegraph and which he called the electromotograph principle. Here, Edison has a chalk cylinder that is revolved slowly by a little motor. Upon the chalk cylinder there rests a strip of metal which is pressed down. In turning around, there is a friction between that strip of metal and the chalk cylinder. But when the current passes through, that friction is released according to the strength of the current. Therefore, that strip of metal being in connection with this part of the relay that breaks and makes the circuit, solved the problem. This illustration may be further demonstrated by taking a piece of paper and laying it upon a metal plate, and wetting it with some weak solution of potash or calcium chloride. Now, when I go over this, there is a certain friction. If I put the current on, that friction is released, and it goes over easy. That motograph principle created a sensation among telegraph operators in both America and in Europe. Later on, while Edison was installing the first telephone exchange in Europe, namely at London, England, he had an occasion to again apply his motograph principle. At first, that telephone station was installed with Bell receiving telephone and the Edison transmitter. In those days, the Edison company pirated the Bell and the Bell pirated the Edison. But the English backers of the Bell company told the English Edison telephone company they would sue them for damages. So it happened that one day Edison received a cablegram from London stating that the Bell interests were going to sue the Edison interests for infringing on their telephone. Edison cabled over, "Don't worry, I'll send you a new telephone, a receiving telephone, in a few weeks." And he went to work and began to develop the idea of his motograph principle.